And welcome back here to the second quarter of the Best Stocks Now radio hour. We're going to go back north of the border today. We spent a lot of time south of the border this year in our portfolios and in our stock selection. You know how badly south of the border has performed over the last several years. Well, guess what? It's back in favor this year, and that's one of the themes that I have adopted in my portfolios for 2014, which is completely different from the themes that I adopted in 2013. Another theme that I have in 2014 is north of the border. Oh, Canada, right? It's home of the Stanley Cup. I have an affinity for Canadians and Canada. My best friend that I grew up with, we've known each other since the third grade, is from Calgary, Alberta. Now he lives up in the Central California area. He's a computer programmer, and he helped me team up to develop the Best Stocks Now app. And his name, his last name is Apperly, appropriately named. He had app in his name to begin with. And we're very proud of the app that we developed together, which was number 4 in the world last week, as far as top grossing financial apps. It's been a very big success. It's exceeded all my expectations. There's a lot of apps in the world. There's a lot of financial apps. And there's some big boys out there, the TurboTaxes of the world and the CNBCs of the world. These are huge financial apps. And our little app, Best Stocks Now, was number 4 in the world. It's been, it averages, somewhere in the top 10 or top 20 on a daily basis as far as top grossing apps in the world. And in fact, in the second half of this show, we're going to record a couple of segments for the app, which will be useful to you listeners out there too. We're going to talk about the history of the app and how it came about, which will become a part of the app itself. When you push on the button, the history of the app, you'll be able to see the video that we're going to record here. And then how to use the doggone thing. Listen, I'm not as technologically savvy as some of these kids today, but I've had to adapt with the times. I got my first computer when I was, probably in my 30s or so, and I've learned spreadsheets, and I've learned all of these newfangled technologies, and it's hard to keep up with it. It's not impossible. I don't care how old you are, or how stubborn you are, or how against new technology you are. These things are powerful. And the app is a very, very powerful tool to help keep you in the right areas of the market. And the app has pointed me this year south of the border, and the app has also pointed me north of the border. And yesterday we talked about one of the big railroads in Canada, the Canadian National Railway, which I'm sure was in Gordon Lightfoot's mind when he wrote the Canadian Railroad Trilogy song. I wish we could find that. Maybe the boys in Texas can find Gordon Lightfoot's Canadian Railroad Trilogy song. We can use it as outro and intro music today. They love that song in Canada. Well, there's another railway. You know how it is. There's competition and everything. There's the Montreal Canadiens, and there's the Toronto team. I can't even think of their nickname. Then there's the Nordiques, and there's the Edmonton Oilers, and there's the Calgary Flames, and there's competition, right? And there's competition in business too. That's just the way it is. That's what makes us better. Little competition makes the other guy stay on his toes, right? If somebody comes up with a better fish taco, they're going to go there. And if it's cheaper, that's what competition is all about. It raises the bar. It makes things better. Well, I don't know of the two railroads which one's better. Yesterday we featured the Canadian National Railroad. Today we're going to feature the Canadian Pacific Railway, which I imagine is up in that Vancouver area, which is rich with natural resources. Yeah, it's headquartered in Calgary, Alberta, which is the home of the co-developer of the app. I've been to many Calgary Flames games. When they come down and play the LA Kings, we usually get together and go see the Flames. Or when they play the San Jose Sharks, we go to the Shark Tank up in San Jose and watch the Flames flame out against the San Jose Sharks, which historically have been a better team. Or the Ducks. We have the Ducks about 90 miles north of me. That's the closest NHL team for me to go to is the Anaheim Ducks, who are currently in the playoffs. I believe they're playing the LA Kings right now, so interesting stuff. Canadian Pacific Railway, headquartered in Calgary, Alberta. Does it pay a dividend yield? Yes, 0.8%. Over the last 10 years, this stock has delivered the goods, 24% per year. You can pull it up on the app. You can look for yourself. That was one of the big purposes of inventing the app. When I see the CEO of a company, I want to see how he's performed. How has he done for shareholders? 25% per year, 23.8. Over the last 5 years, the stock has more than doubled the returns of the market. It's delivered 34.8% per year, while the market's delivered 15. Over the last 3 years, the stock has delivered 37% per year. It's tripled, more than tripled the returns of the market. And over the last 12 months, the stock is up 23.5%. It gets an overall performance grade of A. This is one of the best stocks that you've probably never heard about. It's a $27 billion market cap company. It's about half the size of the other railroad in Canada, and they have others, but these are the two big ones, Canadian National Railway and Canadian Pacific Railway. The symbol of the National Railway is CNI, and the symbol of the Canadian Pacific Railway is just CP, and it has performed. Now, we know that this is a year that also favors value. It's a year that favors large cap. By the way, this is a large cap stock at $27 billion. How about valuation? Well, it's currently trading at 15 times forward earnings. And I have said over and over and over and over again that this is a year that favors stocks that are trading under 20 times forward earnings. It's not a year that favors 272 times earnings like Tesla or some of the other high flyers. No. Earnings multiples, PE ratios have contracted mightily since Janet Yellen started talking about a Fed rate hike. Now, the Canadian Pacific Railway is expected to grow their earnings by 30% per year. That means that this stock is currently trading at 1/2 of its growth rate. It gets a PEG ratio of 0.50. That's another very important factor that I look at. How did the forward earnings compare to the expected growth rate? We call that the PEG ratio, the PE divided by growth, PEG, PEG. PEG comes in at 0.50. Didn't the Steely Dan have a song about some kind of a PEG, didn't they? They sang all about the PEG ratio. Steely Dan's another band. It's coming to San Diego this year that I'd like to see. Never going back to my old school. Take a look at CP's valuation. 268 is my 5-year target price. It's currently trading at 158. Got a lot of upside potential. We'll go out with the Who instead, but that's okay. We'll look for Gordon Lightfoot. Out of 3,826 stocks, CP comes in at number 221, and it's a stock that I own in my conservative large cap growth accounts. We'll be right back.